can start. You guys can hear me well, right?
Hi.
Okay, so today is our third lecture, which is in week 3. Okay. Okay, so for today, because in week 3, right? So what we should cover today is this lecture, learning and designing a research study. And then we will have your progress, exercise 2 and quiz 2. So this one. So for lecture 3 this week, since we already covered this chapter, which is last week, I think we already covered the whole chapter last week until this part. So for today, what we will do is we will cover um, two quiz which is supposed to be conducted last week. This one and quiz two. Yeah, we will learn about. You need to sit for your quiz 1 and quiz 2. But before we start our class, I was informed that we have a newcomer, two newcomers, Jonathan and Nathan, right? Yeah. So before we start, Jonathan and Nathan, if you don't mind, can you introduce yourself?
I go
Yeah.
first.
Yeah, you go first.
So my name is Nathan. I'm from Diploma in Software Engineering.
From
Uh,
Tar.
yeah, from TAR.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So that's all.
So you just joined this week, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
this
like,
week I joined.
okay, cool. And then another one is Jonathan. This one,
Uh,
yeah.
Hi, Miss. I'm Ian. You can call me Jonathan as well. Uh,
Oh,
yeah, I'm also same with Russell. I just moved up from diploma in information technology. So yesterday is my first day lah. Yeah, I just joined. Yeah,
ah,
yeah.
okay. Yeah, Rachel informed me that he knows you too, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah. So okay, Nathan, thank you. Oh, I'll call you Ian because we have another Nathan here. So I'll call you Ian. So since we already covered our two chapter and then we have a newcomer. So what I plan to do is I recap back the first chapter because yeah, I recap back the first chapter, introduction and overview, and then the last week lecture, which is planning and designing research study. So I recap the first chapter and second chapter because it's only few slides. So what is research method, or why you need to learn research method? Okay, so why we learn research method, or why is it significant to your study? First, actually, I'm quite surprised they offered this course for your degree because last time I studied this course for my master. By the way, I think why they offered you this course or this subject is maybe because of your FYP. You need to do because you have FYP, right? If I'm not mistaken, someone told me last week, I guess. So I think they want you to learn this course or this subject before you conduct your FYP. Yeah. So this subject is important for your FYP on how to conduct your research and how to write your research paper. And then another thing, this subject is quite important for those who are intent to pursue pursue their study in master. Yeah. But for you guys, maybe it's for your FYP. So um, so for the first chapter, actually, there's nothing much. It's just like introduction to research or research method. So the first content for the first chapter is the concept of research, step in research, the need, type of research, and the theoretical and conceptual framework. So uh, in world or even in Malaysia, they are ranking the university. One of the criteria they rank the university is based on the research. So based on the research, based on the research. So I do not know how they're maybe based on the number of research they conduct or the number of research paper they publish. But in Malaysia, there's only, if I'm not mistaken, there are only 4 university who are RU research university. But for another university like who are not in research university, they still conduct research. But for instance, like UMS, they're still conducting research, but they are not RU or research university. Maybe I do not know how or why. Maybe because of the number of paper or the number of research they conduct. So that's introduction. So what is research paper? So for this course or for this subject, you will read a lot on research paper. So what is research paper? Research paper is like an output. Yeah, it's like a report to your research. So you will conduct your research and then you need to write like a report or what we call in research met in yeah what we call is a research paper. So research paper is like a summary to your report, or like, yeah, it's a report to you what you done or what your research is, what the result, what the output, what it is about. So that's basically what we call as research paper. So this is the example of research paper. Yeah. So after we conduct our research, we do our research, we conduct our research, we do our research, and then we will write this research paper. So, like I said, research paper is like a report to your research, but research paper is not exactly a report, but it's content your research, your input, your output, your method, everything in this research paper. So after you already done your research paper or after you finish writing your research paper, usually people do conference proceeding. Conference proceeding is like presentation on your research and on your research paper. So for example, you research is the flow is like first you do your assignment, right? After you do your assignment, you need to write a report. So after you finish your report, then your lecturer asks you to go and present to your class. Same goes to your research. You do your research, you write your paper, and you go to present. So this is the conference proceeding. Usually conference proceeding will be attended by researcher, scientist, or lecturer or whoever interested with the research. And then other than conference proceeding, what you can do with your paper is a journal. Journal is like a collection of many research paper. For example, in your class, each of us already conduct our research and each of us already write our research paper. And then journal is like a collection of all of our research paper. So that's journal. Oh, that's journal. Journal is a collection of research paper. Your research paper and my research paper will be combined or will be combined together, will become a journal. So in a journal, there will, no, not there. It will contain many research paper, not only one research paper, because it is a collection of research paper. So that's journal. So what are the concept or this is more to step to conduct your research. So first, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So first, basically we have 5 steps in research. This is like overview of research. So first is addressing problem. Addressing problem is before we conduct or before we plan our research, there must be a problem why we want to conduct the research or why we want to do the research. So the first one is the addressing problem. Addressing problem is identify what is your problem or why you want to do the research. That one is the first one. And then the second one is hypothesis. Hypothesis is something that we want to justify or we want to prove in our research. Hypothesis can be accepted or can be rejected at the end of your research. But if your hypothesis is rejected, doesn't mean your research is rejected. Rejected. You just need to tell or you just need to justify why your hypothesis is rejected. And then after we have our hypothesis, we will go to data collection. And then after we get our data, we will analyze our data. Yeah, analyzing data. And then we will go to conclusion. We will conclude everything that we done in our research. So basically, this is the 5 steps in conducting research. So mm, for research, okay, we will look at this part. So for research, we need to use established or confirmed facts. That's mean at your level, I think you guys already know how to use a valid source. Yeah, valid source is like research paper or journal, book, newspaper. That's valid source, valid fact or valid sources. And then for your research, each of your statement that you write in your research need to have a source. I mean, like you cannot, even though what you said is a fact, but you need to find out what is the valid source for your statement. You cannot simply say, for example, mm, for example, yeah, for example, you write something about weather. For example, you state that in Sabah, in KK, the weather is quite hot, but you cannot simply write something like that. You need to justify why you state that KK or Sabah is quite hot. So maybe you can write something that from observation, the weather here is hot. So you need to write something like that. You cannot, even though what you said is true, but you need to state or you need to justify why. Because if not, people will ask or people will argue or people will doubt your statement. And then reaffirm the result of the previous work. Reaffirm the result of the previous work because in research, you need to know or you need to read what others have done or what they has done in the previous work. So you need to know exactly or you need to understand the previous done or anything that already done by the people in paper or in research. Solve new existing new problem. So in research, it can be a new problem or existing problem. It can be anything, but you need to know in research, you cannot do or you cannot plan a research that already done by people. That means you cannot, if people already done that work, um, you cannot simply like copy their work. But yeah, you cannot do what people already done. And then support theorems. Support theorems, for example, if you have any theory or you use any mathematical formula, you need to justify, you need to state where's the source and develop new theory, develop new theories, develop new theories. But this one in research doesn't mean for your research you need to develop a new theories. For research, you can just simply come out with a result. Develop new theories is depend on the type of research you conduct. So that's that. So this is the step in conducting research. Yeah, this is the steps in conducting research. So first, like I said, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So basically, the first one, like I said, you define your research problem, or you need to understand why you want to run or conduct the research. What is your research? What is the problem? And then after you already identify your problem, you need to do LR before you do hypothesis. Like the explanation just now, before you do your hypothesis, you need to conduct LR. LR, or we call it a literature review, or we call it as LR, is where you do your reading. Reading is from the, like I said just now, you need to understand what people already done. So to avoid for you, or to avoid us to do the same thing, so we need to do, or we need to understand what people already done. So this is where we, what we do in LR, literature review. So in LR you will go through a lot of papers. You need to know, it's not only papers, it may be from news article, even newspaper or thesis. It can be anything from valid sources. And then after you read your LR, or you done your literature review part, you need to come out with hypothesis. Hypothesis. So hypothesis is something that you want to prove in your research. Yeah, something that you want to prove in your research. And then you need to design your research. Designing research, including the method, yeah, the method, how you want to conduct your research. It's like, yeah, what you want to conduct in your research. Designing can be method, can be any formula that you want to use. That is research. And then that is data, no, research design. And then you go for data collection. Data collection is where you get, or where you collect your data. And then after you get your data, you go and analyze your data. And then after you analyze the data, you need to interpret and write a report. Interpret and write a report is, interpret is interpret is a conclusion to your, interpret here is a conclusion. That's mean from your data analyze, you need to conclude your data or your result, and then report. Report can be in research paper. Yeah, report can be in research paper or thesis. So basically that's the step in, that's the best, that's the step in research. So we move to next. Okay, here is a sample research of research title. So the impact of Facebook usage on academic performance. So as you can see here, so they give you a sample of research title. This is the research title. So this is the basic step to conduct a research. Like I said just now, the first one should be uh so the first one should be identify what's your problem. So you need to identify what is your problem, or what you want to investigate, what you want to study. And then after you already investigate or identify what you want to study, you need to do the LR. You need to go for literature review. Literature review, like I said just now, you need to read, or you need to understand what people already done. This is very crucial, or this is very important for research, because in research we do not copy, or we do not do, or we do not conduct research that people already do. Yeah, that is not a research. If you do what people already do, that's not a research. And then after you do your LR, you understand everything, you need to write a hypothesis. Hypothesis is what you want to justify. For example, from the title here, the impact of FB usage on academic performance. So this research want to study what is the impact, or what is the effect of Facebook use on the academic performance. So what they want, so example for this hypothesis, or example for this research title hypothesis can be Facebook usage give impact on the academic performance. So that is hypothesis, something that you want to prove. So you want to prove if Facebook usage is really, is it the Facebook usage really give impact on the academic performance. So that's one of the example of your hypothesis. And then you go design your research. You need to understand, or you need to design how you conduct your how to conduct your research, the method of your research, how to collect data or how to analyze data. So that's in designing part. And then you go for data collection, and then you analyze your data. And then after you analyze the data, you interpret and report. Interpret and report, you conclude everything, and then you write a report of your research. Yeah. And then this is another example, the brain tumor classification. So, mm, because I'm not familiar with medical medical research, I never involved in any medical research. So this one, I do not know how to explain this, but so never mind. For in general, this is the brain tumor classification. So this research is what they want to investigate is the brain, the classification of brain tumor. So from this image, I'm not sure what's the problem with this image. I'm not sure what's the problem with the brain or tumor. So what they want first, they need to identify what is the problem. So yeah, they need to identify what is the problem. And then after they already identify, again, they do the LR. So in this case, or in this research, what they will do in LR is they will study or they will read the papers or any sources regarding the brain tumor or anything that related to this title, which is brain tumor classification. So they will study the papers, and then they will come out with a hypothesis from this LR. They will come out with hypothesis from this LR, and then they will design the research. They will design everything that or how they will conduct their research, and then they will do the data collection, and again they will maybe from their research they will do some experiment. I'm not sure for this case. They will do some experiment and they evaluate the data, and then they will interpret and write the report. Mm, Actually, when you're doing research for your assignment, because you have assignment, right? For your assignment, mm, you need to know exactly what you do, or you need to know exactly what you done or what you need to do in every single step here, because you are the one who conduct your research. So you are the best people or the best person that people should refer to when they have a question regarding your your research. Because for example, this sample title, I'm not sure how to it's not that I'm not sure how to explain process. The process is the same, but referring to the title, the only person that know the best of this research paper or this work is this the one who write or the one who conduct this research. So for your assignment, it is important for you guys to know exactly what you do, because people will ask you, and then yeah, people will ask you what you do. So again, here in the example here, the hypothesis here is rejected. So that's mean the researcher or the scientists of this research, they need to justify why the hypothesis is rejected. Like I said, if your hypothesis is rejected, doesn't mean your research is wrong. You just need to justify why your research is why your hypothesis is rejected. That is normal in experiment or in research to reject your hypothesis, because hypothesis is like a theory that you want to prove. Theory can be true and can be wrong. So for your assignment, for the newcomer, I will touch later in our progress update for the group. So this is a type of research. Type of research can be classified into few type. So there are, I think, 7, 4, 5, 6. There are 5, 6 of type of research. So you need to understand. I think this is very important for you guys to understand the type of research and what type of research that you want to conduct. Here, let me summarize this thing for you guys. So pure research is the original idea or original research of your research. That's mean you have less it's not less. That's mean you want to conduct something that new, new to your field or something that challenging to your research, something that challenging to you as a researcher. Then applied research. Applied research is a research that focus on solving a real life problem. For example, here you can see you want to find a specific cure for a disease, or this is the sample of research title is mercury poisoning affecting its disorder. So you do something that is specific for something specific. So that's apply. And then descriptive. Descriptive is a research that you conduct to describe any phenomenon or situation, because research not only for you, research is not only finding a solution or yeah, finding a solution. Research can be done to describe any situation or problem or phenomenon. That's descriptive. And then correlational. Correlational is a research that you conduct to see what is the relation between two two aspect you want to see. For example, just now Facebook and the student academic performance. So it can be classified under this type because there are two aspects from the research title just now, which is the Facebook and then the student performance. So the research want to see what is the effect of Facebook and the student performance. So then we have explanatory. Explanatory is is different with the descriptive just now. Descriptive research is for you to describe, but explanatory is more to explain. Explain something like why and how, or yeah, usually why and how in research. They want to explain why that phenomena or why that problem occur. So that's one explanatory. Exploratory, the last one, exploratory is a type of research that already conducted, but we want to know more. For example, what exploratory? For example, COVID-19 issue. For example, I want to conduct or I want to do research in COVID-19. COVID-19 is not new, even though it's only 2 years, 3 years, I'm not sure, since 2019. So they are already research based on the COVID-19, but I want to explore, I want to specific on one particular issue. So that can be that can be that can be considered as exploratory research. For example, here there's another example. So from the example here, they already have the no. For example, here they want to conduct a research to know the level of customer satisfaction. So basically, this kind of research is done because there's only little information or little research done before. So that's why you want to explore more. So that's the type of research. There are six. So mode of inquiry perspective. Mode of inquiry perspective is how or yeah, how you want to conduct your research or how you want to approach your research. Basically, there are two, quantitative and qualitative. So what is the difference between quantitative and qualitative? Quantitative is wait, I think what I forgot. But from the statement, yeah, these two sounds easy, but people already tend to confuse. For quantitative research is usually include uh, numerical data or numerical input. So that's quantitative. And qualitative is something that usually have meaning or yeah, usually have meaning or words in your research. But in a research for a deep research, for instance, for PhD or master, Sometimes they can combine both because for your research it's not necessary, or sometimes they will require it for you to do both, or to yeah to do both approach for your research. And then theoretical framework and conceptual framework. So what is theoretical and conceptual? So theoretical is something that already has been established before. For example, here they have four theories. For theories that it can be any theory. This is just example. For example, in yeah, we use this example. So theoretical framework is anything or research that you want to refer to for your research. You can refer to the previous or the established theory. So using arena theories to carry out the research. For example, here research how the cultures of a group of people influence their attitude towards the environment. So they can refer to any theories that already or existing theory. That one is theoretical framework. Yeah. And then we move to conceptual framework. Conceptual framework is like a conceptual framework is not that something that already justified or established, but there is more to like the on idea of us. Like we want to prove something, so can add invariant in this theory. So that's mean uh conceptual framework is like it's not the original idea, but it's more to our own idea. What is conceptual? So yeah, basically that's conceptual. That's mean the idea is from the researcher. It can be from the observation of the researcher and then he get the idea to conduct the research, or any observation or any early preliminary study. Okay, that's conceptual work. And then this is another example of research relationship between Facebook emotions and true feeling. So this is another simple research title, the relationship between the Facebook emotions and the user's true feeling. So this research want to study what is the relationship between Facebook emotions and the user's true feeling. So this is your assignment. This is the abstract. So abstract in the research paper, abstract, usually in research paper, abstract is the first. Yeah, usually abstract is the first one. It's not first one, first part. Yeah, first part of your research paper. So this is a research paper. So abstract is this part. So this part is like a summary, or summary of your research. So abstract, usually they will write what is the aim or what is the problem of your research, and then they will explain what is the objective or what is the purpose. And sometimes in the abstract you can find a result of your research. Yeah, a result of your research. So abstract is like a summary, or when you're reading a book, there's a in the back of your book, usually they will write the summary of the book. So for your research paper, abstract is that part, is the summary of your research or of your research paper. Okay. So that's abstract. And then research question. Research question is something that you want to answer. No, something that research question is something that you want to answer through your research. For example, just now the research title is this one. This is the research title. So research question is this part. This part is the research question. based on this title, you can come out with the, not necessarily from the research title, but we can guess sometimes. But research question is something that you want to answer. So from this title, we want to see, or we want to answer, is that really true that Facebook emotion is representing the user's true feeling? So that's the research question, or that's what you want to study, or that what you want to answer from your research. So that's research question. And then, yeah, the research question is something that you want to investigate, something that you want to study or compare or even analyze in your research. So that's research question. Mm, so basically, that's only for first chapter. First chapter is like on the overview of research and research paper. The process of the research, yeah, the process of the research, and that's like an overview for the first chapter. So, no question? I assume no. Then we recap on our chapter 2, which is last week, which is on last week. So last week is because the first week, yeah, the first week we learned about the overview of research. So last week we covered the first chapter. No, it's not the first. Planning and designing is not the first phase of your research, but this is a phase in your research cycle. So planning and designing a research study. So in this chapter, we already covered the LR, problem statement, hypothesis, design, parameter. So we will go through in this lecture. So what is LR? What is literature review? Like I explained, literature review is literature review is review of the published or unpublished work. That's mean literature review can be done using papers, observation, news, or any valid resources. So that's LR. And then LR is extensive survey on the existing works. That's mean on your LR, you need to read or you need to understand what people already done or what research has been done in the same area of your research, because you need to know that part. You need to know to avoid duplicate of work, because the duplicate of work is not considered as research. It's not research if you copy or duplicate what other already done. So you need LR is very crucial. And then why you need to do LR again, to gain background knowledge for you to understand more on your research based on what people already done. So give us knowledge on what again, for us to know what people already done, not to replicate or duplicate or copy what others has done, and then to identify the data source. Because in other paper or in research paper, usually people will state where they get the data or how they get the data or the technique to analyze their data. And then we will see how people write their papers, how others structured their works or reports. So that means how people write their paper. And then LR, how to conduct the LR. First, you need to identify the relevant source. You need to identify where can you get the source or where can you get your information from. And then extract and record relevant information. Because like I said just now, in LR, you need to do a lot of reading, a lot of reading, a lot of observation. So let's say you read 100 of research paper. This is one of your research that paper that you already read. So let's say you already read 100 or maybe 1,000 of paper. Doesn't mean all the literature, all your papers is relevant to your LR. You need to extract what information or is it useful to your research. That's what's meant by relevant information. And then after you already read, you already extract and identify the relevant information for your LR, you do your writing. you do your writing for your LR, write up the literature review. But because for your research, you just need to write. Okay, but for your research, since you just need to write, you need to only come out with this kind of paper, which is this kind of article. Yeah, you need to come out with article. So for related, for your LR, it's quite different with thesis. Maybe for your FYP, I'm not sure if you have thesis. For your assignment, sorry, one, two, okay, one, 1.5, two. So it's only for your research paper. You will go to related work. So LR in research paper uh, can be known as related work. Related work is what people already done. So this is your LR. So for your assignment, LR or related work, mm, it's not, you doesn't need to write, because for thesis usually people write up to maybe for thesis usually people will write up to 50 pages, but for your assignment it's only like I can see here, maybe 1 2 page. Well, 1 2 page. But this is very crucial because your related work need to be from the valid sources. You don't simply write anything in your related work. First, what I mean first, you don't write anything that not related to your research, or anything that not give you any relevant or is not relevant to your research, any information. Like I said, you maybe read 100 of paper, but maybe out of 100 of paper you can only extract like 5 which is relevant to your uh to this part. So no point if you just write some not related work here. So that's LR. And then so LR, like I said, it can be from books, journal, electronic database. Electronic database is, if you go research, electronic database can be, electronic database can be, where is it? This is it? But Elsevier is Scopus. Elsevier is, I think, more to medical, but sometimes you will find relevant information. Electronic database can be this kind of database. It can be this, but Elsevier is more to medical. If I'm not mistaken, there's one. This one. This one, for your research, for us, computer science. Mm, mm, Scopus. Scopus. You need to identify. No, it's not you need to identify. This one is another example of online database. You can read from this Scopus for computer science. They have different with Elsevier just now. This one, oh, IEEE. This one too is a good database for us to find paper here, related paper. So usually I will refer to these two database, Scopus and IEE. Elsevier sometimes they got, but I think Elsevier is more to medical field. So you need to identify which one is suitable for you. So this is the example or the sources of your, or where you can find the sources for your LR. And then you see here, this is thesis. Thesis is the, I think you guys know thesis, right? Thesis is when you write for your final year project, when you already finish everything. Thesis is like a book. Yeah. Thesis is a book of your research. It's like a report. Thesis is like mm, a report of your research. But thesis usually have more number of pages compared to article. Article is like only summary. Like I said, in thesis can contain around, here in your related work, in your literature part, here it's only like 2 pages, but in thesis usually they have 20 to 30 pages of LR. So thesis is usually, for my thesis, I think my thesis, the one that I already done, I have 2 theses. It's more than 100 pages. Yeah, 100. Yeah. So that's thesis. Thesis can be your source of research. And then this is the example of article paper. Literature, how to write LR. Okay, let me summarize. How to write LR. So LR, like I said, you need to go, for example, we take one paper or one article. And then after we find that one article or one paper, we conclude that this paper is relevant to our research. And then how to write how to cite that paper or his paper in our research or in our paper. So we need to, anything that you write or any input that you write in your paper, you need to write something like this. You need to input the name and the year of the paper. And then you don't write what the paper said, but you need to conclude what they already said in that paper. So that's how, or this is the example how you write LR, literature review. In this paper, this is the example of, because in citing we have different type of what now we call this format, different type of, different type of format how to cite others work. So you can refer to this page, or you need to follow not your you need to follow our format for our college. So you need to write LR. That's how you write LR. So this is another example. So every literature or every sources that you include, you need to in your paper, you need to include in your reference part. So that's that. And then remember, for your LR, you need to find the relevant, original, comprehension, and index. Index is you include here in your list of reference. That's that. And then research problem statement. So in research problem statement, you need to identify what is your exact problem, or you need to write what is your problem of your research. So there are two types of problem, which is questioning or marking. Marking declarative is you give a statement of your statement here. You give a statement of your problem. And then we have, this is a process how to write a problem statement. First, you need to write in general way, and then you need to understand the nature of your problem. And then you need to write LR. No, you need to go for your LR, you need to read and write your LR. And then from your LR, you need to identify, or you need to come out with the ideas through the discussion. And then you can write, you will come out with a research problem. That's fast. And then, so what's the criteria for good research problem is this. It's very important for you to have a clear research problem. And then research objective. So let me conclude for research objective. Research objective is actually, research objective is what or why you want to do, the purpose of your research. Yeah, the purpose of your research. First, it's for your objective, you need to very specific of your research. You need to know, or you need to specific in your research objective. So research objective is basically a target or goal of your research. So that's research objective. And then this is a sample of research objective. Usually people will use the keywords such as to identify, to study, to identify, to study, to usually they will start with the terms to identify the study, to identify the important. So that's the example of research objective. And then research hypothesis. Research hypothesis is something that you want to justify or something that you want to prove. It's a theory to your research. It's only a theory, it's not yet proven. So that's what you want to prove. Yeah, that's what you want to prove. For example, the use of Facebook just now give effect to the student academic performance. So you want to justify that that that's true that the Facebook usage really affect the student performance. So that's that for hypothesis. And then process of how to come out with hypothesis. First, hypothesis formulation. Hypothesis formulation is like the general idea of your hypothesis. Oh, it's not general idea. It's yeah, you already come out with your hypothesis and then you go for data collection and then you analyze data. And then after you analyze your data, you will conclude, is it true what you want to justify? Is it accepted or is it rejected? Can be both. As you can see here, can be both. So research parameter is anything that involved in your research. So for example, in the research to identify the student performance based on the FB usage. So the parameters can be the students, can be the students, and then can be the time for you to conduct your survey or for you to conduct the observation, and then the number of questions that you want to ask them maybe in a questionnaire, and then data collection, how you want to conduct your research, how you want to conduct your data collection. So that's design parameters. And then this is another example of design parameters. Yeah, these parameters is actually what involved with your research. It can be the student, it can be the time taken for the Facebook use, it can be anything that related to your research. It can be area, that is parameter. So this is a basic assumption. This is like a description. It's not description, it's like an explanation. Basic is assumption is why we want to conduct our research. Yeah, basic assumptions. So we have few tools here to conduct or run. It's not run, to conduct our research. Mendeley, BibTeX. BibTeX is a file. Calendar, Gantt chart. This is basically tools to conduct our research. And then last week, this is the paper, online engagement factors on brand, Facebook on brand page. So I think we won't cover this paper, but we will cover this part in our exercise today, later. Yeah. So from your research paper, you need to identify what's the dependent, independent variable, what is the research problem, research objective, LR, hypothesis, design, and basic assumption. So basically that's all for chapter 1 and chapter 2. I recap back them all for you. So do you have any question? No, I assume no. No question. Okay. So beta. So we have 3 over 2. Exercise quiz. So guys, I want to know for quiz, usually I want to conduct a quiz, first quiz for today, because we have to, right? Guys, usually your lecturer will post your quiz at the GC. Is it? they will conduct, or yeah, usually where they will post the questionnaire for your quiz.
Yeah, GC or something.
Okay, let me try. Guys, let's have a 5 minute break. We will continue at 10:05 before your quiz. Okay, see you in a moment. Mm, Hi guys again. So Alvin, thank you for the link. I'll take a look at it. So is everyone here already? Because I want to conduct our first quiz. Yeah. So, are you guys okay if we do the quiz because there's only like five objective question for the quiz. So I think 10 it's not I think. So 10 minutes is enough, right? For five
Right.
objective question. Yeah. So uh okay. So for your quiz, I'm not sure if maybe some of you already see, but for your quiz, uh let me share with you guys. So, guys, for your first quiz for today and for this course, for now, I just use your GC. This one that Alvin send the link, I'll take a look into it later. But for your first quiz and your second quiz, for your first quiz, I already post here in the classwork. So you guys need to access this question. And then I think the time is only until 10:15. So you guys can do start the quiz now here in the classwork and then under the quiz. So I know that leave it blank. Yeah, just write your name. I will capture your name. Rachel, you already click on the link. Let's see. What's question number 5? Wait, For those new student, newcomer, don't worry, just answer your best. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Rachel, right? Been through U1 is G1, rest is G2. What is tutorial group? RSD. For wait, question number 5, right? Let's see. Guys, if you don't know your tutorial group, just leave your name and your student number. I will capture based on your name and student number. If you don't have your student number, it's okay. Just leave your name there. Okay. I'm not sharing it. Question number 5. What tutorial group 1? For question number 5, question number 5, question number 5, yeah, I missed out. But guys, for this question, you don't have to be, just answer you. This is for question number 5. This is the option for, yeah, the fourth answer. Are being site, the site term is missed out. So what tutorial group? Tutorial group, you can leave it. What group? You just leave it. Is G1 rest is G2. For answer, yeah. So try to answer first. So, hi guys. So, I think I already received uh your 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 answer. I already received your answer. Hmm. Yeah, I received your answer. So, we will for this quiz because only 5 objective question, right? So, this one for the answer we will discuss next week for both of the quiz 1 and quiz 2 later. So now what we will do is we will go to exercise 1. In the exercise 1 here in here. Okay. So here in your exercise, you need to download this one article. Oh, this one article, and this one is the document. So I will explain, yeah, I will explain this article. Yeah, so what I want you to do is you download this article, and then I want you to read it. I give you 10 minutes to read this paper. Yeah, and then I will explain this article later. Yes, I will. You need to read this. You download first, and then you read. I give you 10 minutes to read, or 15 minutes to understand this paper, what it is about. 14 page. Mm, yeah. So you read this first, and then I will explain later. 15 minutes. So around 10:35 or 10:30, 35. 10:35 should be enough. Okay, you read this one first. Quiz 2 got, but later. Hi guys. So I think enough for you guys to read that paper. So before I start for the exercise one, so I want to ask because I think you already read some part of the paper, right? So I want to ask. I will ask Daniel. I want to ask you. So have you read the part of the paper?
I until read until page 5 only, page 6 only, half, no half.
Yeah. Okay. So this is your first time reading a article.
This is the first time I ever read this research paper.
So it's kind of boring, right? Just
It's
be
kind
honest.
of overall research about Facebook emoji. It's about Facebook emoji. This article,
Yeah.
read it through it.
So yeah,
Boring, kind of boring.
yeah,
But
it's expected.
yeah, you try to understand it.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Daniel. So actually, guys, my purpose, the purpose of me to ask you to read that paper, that article just now, is for you is to introduce what is article to you, because I don't expect you guys to know or to understand the paper. I just want to introduce what is article. So for Daniel, I think because he capture, or that's good for you guys to capture what it is about. But for research, right, it can be, if may I say this, kind of boring. But because I took this subject too during my master, that was my first time reading a paper. Ah, research paper. Yeah, research paper. This is considered article. Research paper is article. We call it as research paper or article. But research paper is usually done by a student. But article is this one. I mean, what you read is article. So that's article. So the purpose of me ask you to read the article is to introduce what's article or what's in the article. So since Noel asked me, so Noel, how do you feel after you read the article? You want to
Quite
share?
challenging because the English really deep, really advanced.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you on that. But for article, usually they will use high level of language. It's not high level. I mean, they will use. Wow, Calvin Chat. Okay, you wait your turn. So, yeah, I agree with you. Usually in article or research paper, but this one is article, they use high level of language because article is usually read by the professional. Professional as it's not professional, but those who are, it's not just professional. I mean like yeah, they use high level language. It's a deep meaning. So it's good for you. The more you read, the more you can improve your English, I guess. Yeah. So I agree with you on that part. For we have another pro here, Calvin Chuck. You want to share? You just read your abstract, right? So what do you think about the abstract, Calvin Chuck? Interesting. Yeah. Would you like to turn on your mic?
Uh,
Where you? Yes.
yeah, that's interesting lah. Use emoticon to check the mental state of users.
But abstract. Do you think it's boring to read the article?
I don't. We just you didn't give us enough time to read everything, so I just read abstract
Yeah.
only.
Yeah, that's enough. That's correct because I just want to introduce what is research paper to you guys. So who else I want to ask? Ferry Vincent. Ferry Vincent, what you want to share? What do you think about article? Because this is, I believe this is the first time of you guys to reach article, right? So Ferry Vincent, where are you?
Here.
Yeah, you. So
Uh,
until
so
which part you read?
for me until like the second page only.
Okay, that's good enough. So
Yeah.
what do you think about article?
For me, it's yeah, quite boring because it's too lengthy, and the English
Right.
is like
Too high.
advanced. Yeah, very
Mm.
high. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Farah. Yeah. So what I can conclude, first, you're right. The English is quite advanced. It's quite advanced. It's quite high. And then, correct too. I don't give you enough time because that's not my intention. At first, I just want to introduce what is article, because I believe most of you here are not. Oh, most of you this is the first time to read the article or research paper. So I want to introduce to you. Okay, so as you can see here in this article, so here usually for the published article, right? Usually for published article, here on the top of your paper, on the top of the first page, usually they will state where you can find this paper. But for some of the paper that later you, if you read or you search for more paper, sometimes they don't have this part for this. But for this particular article, they have this part. So publication. So that's mean they publish this paper at the research gap. Okay. So and then here they will give, or they will usually for title they will use slightly bigger size so that people can see the title. So this is the title. And then here article in IEE access appraisal is important. So here, what is another thing that is important to article is who is the writer, or who is the author for this particular paper. So here you can see there are 7 author, but they only state 4 author here. So this is the author. So usually in the author section, right, they will they will give you the name of the author, and then they will state where they are from. For example, here in university, yeah, in university. So they are from university, but this usually they will just tell you the name and where they're from. So that's the author. That one usually on the first part. That's what's important. And then here is the, usually for paper, right, they will skip, they don't have this part, but usually they will start with this part of page. So as you can see here, the title here, this is the title of the paper, and then this is the author of your paper. This is the author of the paper, of your paper, and then they state where are this author come from. And then here on the abstract part, abstract is a summary of the research paper. So it's not that I don't. For your level, it's important for you to familiarize yourself with article or with research paper. Yeah. So for because I'm quite familiar with article, right? So what I do, but you guys need to go through the paper. So what I do usually, I just read the abstract. So I think if I think that the abstract or the whatever the content in abstract is relevant, I'll read the paper, the whole paper. But if from the abstract I find that that paper is not relevant, that article is not relevant to me, then I will skip that part. But for you guys, it's important to read the whole paper because you guys are still new. I'm not saying that I'm pro, but I'm familiar with research, so I know what's important to my research. So that's the abstract part. And then we have index term. Index term or keyword. Keyword here is what they come out from the abstract. Well, so what they come out from the abstract. Index term can be keyword sometimes here. So here is like what's important to this abstract or any important or any term that is any term or any term that related to this abstract. So the introduction here, as you can see, this is in all of the paper that I read, there must be introduction, because introduction is actually introduction to your paper or what your paper is. It's not an abstract. Abstract is like a summary, but introduction is paper or a part or a section where you explain or where you introduce your research, what your research. So as you can see here, they use like they only write few paragraph in the introduction part here, introduction, and then they move to related work. Related work in article, related work is actually a LR. So like I said, LR is actually what people already done or research. It can be research, it can be article, it can be news or anything. And related work, it can conclude like observation, but the observation must be real and must be true. So it can consider here in the related work. So related work is basically is your LR. So you need to write whatever relevant to your research in your LR part. So here they have one full page. LR is quite long actually. Almost 2 page of LR. But that's quite short actually for 2 page. But you know, to write LR, it's quite hard because you just see this is only 2 pages, right? But actually, you can only see only 2 pages, right? But actually, when you're reading or writing a research paper, even to come up with a paragraph, for example, even to come up with this paragraph, it's very hard. I can say that because I know how to write LR. So it's very hard to write LR. And then material and method. We move to the third section or the third part of material and method. So what's the material and method? Material and method is what or how you want to conduct or what's needed for your research. For example, here selection of news. So they do some reading on the news, or they will extract their input from the news. So they use the selection of news as their method, and this is what they get. And then they use analysis. This is more likely or on how they conduct the research. For this particular article, and then they use questionnaire for their research. That's the method. So this is the outcome, data collection. This is the another method how they conduct their research, and then this is the output of their research, but still this is still the output of their research. I mean, they analyze the data of their research, and then the result. The result is like the result from your data. That means you already analyze your data, then you will come out with something like this. A result can be in any form. It can be only in statement, or it can be, but this particular research, they're using graph to show the result. So that's the result section. Result section is very important in article because it will tell people what is your outcome or what's the result of your research. So they use another graph here for the research. And then discussion. Discussion is quite crucial for article because usually for me, if I read paper, if I read the abstract and if I think that abstract is relevant to my research, I will usually go to this part, the discussion or for discussion, because in discussion they will usually they will tell what is the future work or what is the gap of this particular research. That means in this discussion part, they will suggest to another researcher, they will suggest to me what research should I done based on their research. Because, like I said, we cannot duplicate others' work. That's not research. So in this part, it's very important to tell what can be done. So what's the difference can be done from your research and my research. So that's on discussion. And then they have conclusion Conclusion is you conclude back everything. It's like normal conclusion, you conclude everything for your research, and then you have the reference part. So basically that's an article. So here, I think you guys can download this. So how to, okay, so you need to do this, but for this one, we will do this part together. So based on the article for part 1, which is based on from this article, you need to answer. It's quite important. This exercise is quite important for you because you have your midterm, right? So yeah, it's quite important. So for the first one, let's do together. So you fill your name, your ID, and then your author. I will pick one random guy from this. Jonathan, Ian. So what do you think from this one? From this one, I think this is quite easy. Who is the author of this paper, or for this particular paper?
The author for this paper is Mr. Felipe.
How many of them?
The main one is Mr. Felipe, but there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah, correct. So have you read any paper before, any article before?
Previous diploma semester, we have like do some research. So I did touch on some journal before.
So yeah, cool. Then that's correct. This is the author. This is the main author. Usually for author, right, they will arrange your name, or they will arrange our name based on the, because this is they write this paper together, right? So in research paper, usually they will write our name based on our contribution to that particular paper. So for example, this guy here, what does the number mean? This one, 1, 2, 3, that one, is that what you mean? If that's the one, that's mean the, yeah, this small number here, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3 is the number of, but why they have, actually the number is not important, but because not all of the paper have number. I give you another example. This is my lecture. This is my apa? Let's see. Oh, she's only one paper. Okay. Betul. So usually the paper is, it's not the paper. Usually, because this one example here, they also use the numbering in the paper. So number can be referred to the, is it the paper is written, I mean, the number of author? No, it's not the number of author. For example, here, Muhammad Nizam, this one is the first author. This is all the first author of this paper. That means they contribute most of the content of the paper together for this particular research. Same goes to this one. If you can see here, they have number, right? 1, 2, 3. So they are the author, the main author. Yeah, that's the term, the main author of this particular paper. So as you can see here, this is the author. So I think that's the answer to your question. So for this one, the author of this paper is this people here. So you need to write here who is the author of this paper. And then they ask you what year this paper is published. What year this paper is published. Okay, let's see. Shucks, since you only read, oh, the number is from the university. No, usually the number is for the rank of the author. So, Shuck, from this paper, which year the paper published? For this one. Do you think which paper this year has been published? So which one? Which year?
2019. 2019.
Yes, correct. Correct. Usually we refer to here, usually on the top or some of the paper on the bottom. Okay, they have both side here. So usually you can see the year is on the top or on the bottom of your paper. Do they have it here? Yeah, 2019, they have on both. So that's how you read, or that's how can you refer to the year. And then next we have title of article. Title of article. Yeah, this one, the university are listed below is based on the corresponding number. That's one of the method to write the university. Some of paper like this one. Usually some of the paper they will straight directly write the name after the university after the name. But some of the paper they just separate. But yeah, usually that's how they will sometimes also include the email address in order if people want to email them regarding their paper. So what's the title of this article? Alvin, what's the title of this article? Wait, okay, wait, let me wait. So that's the title. So what is dependent and independent?
The author, do we write every single name? We put
You
every
mean for all of the?
Yeah.
You mean all the author?
Yeah. Do we put all the authors or only the main one?
No, we write all the author, whoever that write that paper.
Okay.
Yeah. So Alvin, this is the title, correct? For this one, this is the title. Is it correct? Yeah. So this is the title of the paper. So this is the title of the paper. And then what is dependent and independent variable? Like I said last week, dependent and independent variable. Dependent variable is something that affected in your research, and independent variable something that changed through your research. So what is dependent and independent variable here? So Con, Can, Shak, what is dependent and independent variable here? How do I feel if I emotion present Facebook page using clustering mechanism? Well, actually, no, Con, Can, Shak, you don't have to answer me, because how to identify this one, dependent and independent variable, you need to read the papers. You need to read the papers, so you need to identify. So I did read this paper and I found it should be somewhere here in the introduction. Where is it? Should be something like this, but let me. Yeah, from this, even from the title, but I found because I already read this paper. Should be somewhere here. Actually, from the title, hmm, should be somewhere here. But yeah, independent and dependent variable is wait, independent human real emotion. No, I think you. This is correct, but the independent variable is actually the I think for Noel, independent, right? The answer is on Ian answer. Independent emotional expression, dependent. Wait. No, wait. Dependent is someone that depend on the independent. Dependent emotional expression. Independent should be the independent, something that I change. Independent. I think you guys too is No, first you need to understand what is independent and dependent variable. Dependent variable is something that something that depends on what change, something that is fake, something that is affected. So what's affected for this research is the human real emotion. Why do you say, Ian, why do you say right? Why do you say yeah, independent something that you change, dependent is something that affected. So from this research, dependent or something that affected is the something that affected is the yeah, this one is correct. Shark is correct here. This that's mean how to explain this? This one is correct. Shark answer is correct because I think Ian and Noel giving the same answer. Shark is correct on this one. Dependent is something that is affected or something that is changed because of something. So that's mean they use the reaction or emoticon, and then the use of emoticon represent the real state of the user. You can see here, dependent variable. Yeah, dependent is something that depend on the independent variable. So independent variable is the thing that you change. As you can see here, independent is something that you change. So for this particular case, what they change is the emoticon or user reaction, use of reaction, the emoticon of Facebook. So what's the dependent variable is the real state of emotion of the user. So that's how you write your dependent and independent. It's very important for you guys to know what's the dependent and independent variable. Okay, guys. So do you understand that part? I assume yes, you guys understand. So let's move to research problem, or what is the research question. So for research problem and research question, who wants to answer what is research problem or research question? Ivan, yeah. Ivan, long time I haven't heard from you. Ivan, what is the research problem or research question you can find for this research? Your research problem. Research problem. Oh, we have the wrong one. Two research problems. Hmm. So other than Ivan, does the use of fraction differentials increase the confidence of user? This one, okay. For Jonathan, for Ian, I think I agree with you. This is one of the research problem because I read this paper. So this is one of the research problem of this research, or of this particular article, because I think you found that part here in this introduction part, because I already read this part too. So one of the research problem or what they want to answer through this question is this. They want to see this one. This one is the correct research question. I I found this one too last night. I think should be here, somewhere here.
It's at the abstract, the last sentence. I took it from there. Yeah, the last sentence.
Okay. But in the introduction part also, you can find that part, because here until here. That part. And then introduction also you can find. I think I read this here in this part, in the introduction part, but that one is correct, Ian. And then we have Ivan. How to use use of animation in visual the recognition, Ivan. Research problem. What is the problem? Research question is the question. Recognition of feeling and emotions in visual environments. Hmm. For Ivan, right? Recognition of feeling. I don't think this is quite precise. Research problem. Yeah, this can be the research problem too. The recognition of feelings and emotions in visual environments. Yeah, this one can be your problem. This one is correct. This one is more or less like this one. How does the emoticon relate to the real state of emotion? This one is more or less the same with Ivan. Determine the connection between emotions and real emotion. For Ferry Vincent, this is good. This is same. These three, I think these three answer is more or less the same. They want to see what's the relation between or correlation between the emotions and the real emotions. So that one is true. This one too is true. But to identify this one from the title or from the abstract, you can find this one. But for this one too, You can find this from the abstract, but for the explanation on this, you can find on the introduction part, because I found that one on introduction part. So you guys can understand to identify the research problem or the question. So that's good. So we move to hypothesis. What's the hypothesis? If you guys can answer this part, I think you guys can come out already with the hypothesis. So what's the hypothesis of this article? Who wants to try how to identify or how to create? Anyone want to try? Lim Jing Ming. You want to try? What is the hypothesis of this research? For this one, should be something like Jing Ming Lim. You want to try? What is the hypothesis of this statement finding? Oh, we moved to Rachel. You want to share? Rachel, what is the hypothesis for this article? Data collection. Sample is sample of data. Okay. So what's the hypothesis? Data analysis. So guys, what is the hypothesis of Shak, is this your okay, Rachel? Okay. There is not a single relationship between both. This one can be a hypothesis too. There's no single relationship between this one can be a hypothesis. But if you already finish your research, right, and then you, like I said lah, hypothesis can be accepted and can be rejected. This one is a correct hypothesis. This one is a correct hypothesis, but after this one is no. This one is correct hypothesis. Okay, this is good, Noel. Correct. And then the correlation with the this one too a hypothesis. Basically the same. Yeah, this one is correct. To Shak and Farah determine the correlation between emoticon. This one is not really a hypothesis, right? Because I'm asking on hypothesis. For Farah Vincent, that's not really a hypothesis. Yeah, for hypothesis, you need to write something that like this or like this. This is not really a hypothesis, but good. No. Sorry. That was wrong just now. So this is hypothesis. This is hypothesis. No, fair. My bad. Sorry. This one is hypothesis. Jing Ming. This one is correct. Jing Ming Lim. This is hypothesis. Okay. This one based on This one is based on your research problem just now. This is hypothesis too, correct? Based on your problem just now. This is correct hypothesis. Yeah, Vera, my bad, sorry. So you guys know already how to write hypothesis, right? And then next, we move to data collection method or instrument use. So Ferry Vincent, since you're the last one here. So what's the data collection or instrument they use, or how they get the data from this part? Yeah, this part here, how they get the data or the sample of the data. That one for you to think, data collection, and for sample. What's the sample here? Sample. This is result. Sample. Sample, for sample, it can be any data that you sample, for sample, this part, it can be any data or anything that you extract during your data collection. So for data collection method, Farah Vincent, what do you think? What's the data collection or instrument they use? Instrument is like questionnaire. So do you have answer, Farah Vincent? From Facebook post? Not really. But for this question, you need to see data collection. Data collection or instrument use is how do they get the data. So from this research, from this article, you can see here the material and method. So how do they get the material on what's the method they use to collect the data? So they already highlight here, they use selection of news. So they're using news as the sample of data. Here is the selection of news. So news is the material. Yeah. So the first one is selection of news. And then it's already highlighted here, selection of news. And then they use the analysis of correspondence between news and basic emotions. And they use the questionnaire. So questionnaire is a instrument. So the instrument used for this particular research is questionnaire. And then what else they use? Data collection with user and corresponds analysis between reaction probability. So this is all the so that's all the method or the instrument they use. Do you guys understand? Because this paper is quite straightforward because they already write here material and method to analyze your data and what the material that needed for your research. So that's how you write your data collection. Questionnaire, yes, questionnaire is the what I said just now, instrument. So from Facebook post, is there anything from a Facebook post? I think can be correct. But I think from this article, Facebook post is too general. Panel of 7 experts to just so that GitHub. Okay, but for clustering mechanism, Noel, what do you mean by clustering mechanism? Clustering mechanism is something that I think they will use in this. Clustering mechanism is an output. No, it's a method actually. So clustering mechanism is usually people will use clustering mechanism as the method to analyze your data. Usually, where did I say it? Clustering mechanism is something like this. This is after they already get the data. This is how they're going to use or to analyze the data to produce the result. So clustering mechanism is the method to analyze the data. Okay, but for this question now, data collection method is the one that I said just now. So sample from this research, sample can be sample anything, no, sample for this particular research, sample is here is what they get from their data collection. So here they said that they use the selection of news. So the sample of the data can be something like this, what they get from the selection of news. So sample is anything that you get, sample of data. And then here they didn't really, here the sample of data is in statement. And then for another example here, questionnaire. So sample of data is the result of their questionnaire. So that's sample of data. And then data analysis method. To answer this one, clustering mechanism, I think for this research, they are using this method here. Between analysis, between reaction and productive. So, next question again. So the data analysis method is how you're going to write your, it's not how you're going to analyze your data. So based on this research, how they analyze their data. This is a sample. By the same, the simple. Clustering. So how they are going to assign 5 method. Wait. Let me calculate. Okay, so for this part 3 with material and method. So they combine what is the data or type of data collection they use and what is the method that they will use to analyze the data. So for this section, let's see. So selection of news is a material or data collection. Selection of news, one. Analysis news. This is two. Second method, second method to get the data. Questionnaire is an instrument. This one is third. Data collection with user. So this one is fourth. So for so for the first and the last one, corresponding analysis between this one is the method. Is the method for you to analyze your data. Why I said this is the method. Okay, I think there's not, I think. There are only four method. Four. So there are only 4 data collection method here for this research and 1 data analysis method. So 4 ways for them to get the data collection and 1 method for them to do the analysis of the data. Why I said so? Because E cannot be considered as data collection method because why I said so? because here in this section, they already do some analysis of the data that they get. If you read truly, this part is they already do some data analysis. So this one is not the method for you to get your data, but this is the method for you to produce a result. Yeah, this is a method for you to produce a result. There's a difference between data and result. Data is not yet processed, but the result is the processed data. After you analysis the data, you will get the result. So that's the process. So A, B, C, and D is the way for you to get a data, but E is a process for you to get a result. So this is a method how they're going to get the result. So only 4 method of data collection and 1 method to analysis the data. So this one. And then next, finding or result. Finding or result, you can go. This is quite easy. But for this part, data analysis method, you need to be very careful because sometimes in the paper, they will combine the section, like this part, they will combine. But for some paper, they will separate the part. So you need to be very careful on that. So they ask, the next one is they ask the result. So what is the result? Let's see what's the conclusion. So what's the result of this part? This is the clustering method. Clustering method is one way of them to analyze the data. Clustering method, clustering method is how they're going to analyze the data. So clustering method, because this paper, they don't really separate the section. For some paper, they will separate the section. So it's quite hard for you to find. So from this part, they ask us the finding or result. So finding or result, they already come out with the result, and then they state the result from the analysis. And then what I can see here in the last section here, reaction. So they step back the hypothesis here again. And that figure that the vision of the cluster was clear, and that direction represent the feeling of question. So this part or this section here, justify back or step back. What is your hypothesis? So here, this is the hypothesis. This is not the hypothesis, but this is referring to the hypothesis earlier in the research. So that they said that this hypothesis is accepted because of this, because of the analysis of the data. Like I said, your hypothesis, you need to justify or you need to prove why your hypothesis is accepted or why your hypothesis is rejected. So for this part, the state the reason of the hypothesis is accepted, referring to figure 4. Figure 4. This figure. So that is the result for this research, that the reaction represent the feeling in question. So that's the output or the research result. Then scope or limitation of the research. Scope or limitation of the research is actually a gap on what the researcher think occur in their problem. So limitation and gap usually in discussion section. Discussion, where's discussion? Okay, they have discussion here. So let's find what's there. Wow, the discussion is quite long, but okay, I found one. So I found one. This one. No. This part can be this one is the gap or what the researcher suggests the next researcher should do, and then that one is first. I think there are a few here, but for this part, you need to scope limitation of the research is something that they want to improve. So I think from this part, scope or any limitation or any problem you can find in discussion part. So for this one, for this part, I think you guys can read this part later, and then you can identify. So this is another one I found. However, see, this is another example of the gap. So here, as you can see, the result need to carry out. So they suggest to carry out additional studies in the area to obtain more accurate assessment of the. So this is what the researcher suggests for the next researcher or the next research to do. So that's the example on this one. And then areas of future study. Areas for future study, you need to come out from this one, from the gap or scope limitation of your research. So areas of future study is, this is very general actually. For areas of future study, this is very general because you need to identify this limitation first, and then you will find out what is the area of study. So the area of study, let's say, for example, this one in the highlighted part, turns to use. So the area of study is quite general. How to explain? So, they are still, if they set here future, that means it's not longer in your research. So it's in the part that they suggest you to do. So area of study, I think they will use the same area of study, but they need to have something different to make their research have or has their own novelty. So for this part, it's very general to ask area of future study because, yeah, area of future studies will come from the gap that you already identify here. So that's the area of study. Area of study can be like, for example, area of study still in Facebook. Is a relationship area of study still between this. How area of study is like You know, right? What is the meaning area of study? Area of study is the focus on your study. So this question asks, what is the area of study for your next research? What is the focus of your next study? Okay, area of study for future study here is what is the next area of research from this limitation here or this gap here. So that's that. And then basically the purpose of this exercise 1 is for me to introduce to you guys how to extract or what is the article or research paper. So you have, I think I already upload second exercise in the class. So for second one, you can download and you can try to do, and then maybe we will discuss later in our next class. So for now, before we move on, guys, do you have any question regarding this exercise? I don't expect you guys to answer all of the question or to know everything or all of the question in the exercise 1 because it's like introduction to you. So that's why that's the purpose for you to do the exercise 2, because maybe in the exam they will ask. I mean in the midterm, they will ask. So before we move to your quiz 2, do you have any question? I assume no. So let's move to our quiz 2. Quiz 2. So for your quiz 2, you can, okay, for your quiz 2, I already uploaded again in the GC. You guys can see, you guys can answer. We will end at 11:44 for quiz 2. Yeah, you guys can try to answer. Okay, try to answer. You have 10 minutes to submit. Okay, guys, good luck. Hello, guys. I'm sorry, I was disconnected. So, you guys can hear me now, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry, I was disconnected. My internet got problem. So, okay. So, I want to share my screen. So, for the newcomer, I want to show this part. Okay, so for the newcomer, for this course, you will have an assignment. So assignment, and then you have a midterm. So for midterm, all of you need to be this date. This will be on your midterm day, on 21st August, which is on Saturday, week 9, 10 to 12 p.m. You guys need to be take note on this. And then you have your assignment. Assignment is 60% of your marks or overall marks. So for assignment, for assignment, so for how many people in your group? 2 or 3? Wait, how many people in your group class? I forgot already.
2.
I think should be 3 or 2, right? 6.
Oh.
2, 3. So for this guy, Miss, more students may be joining lagi. That one, this one, I'm not sure because our intake process is still ongoing. Yeah, so I cannot answer this question. But for no, for Nathan and Ian, do you guys already have group for this course? Have no. So who? Because last time, if I'm not mistaken, we have one group, right? One group with 2%. Is it? If I'm not mistaken, it's Vincent, Farah, and Shak, right? Am I correct? Yeah. So Farah, Vincent, and Shak, do you guys mind? Or wait, Jonathan and Nathan, do you have anyone in mind? No. For Vincent and Shak, can you take one of them to join your group? If you guys don't mind, since you only have two. So, yeah, okay. So I think for Nathan Su, you join group Pharaoh Vincent because there are only two of them in a group. So Nathan Su, you join Pharaoh Vincent. So your group is Pharaoh Vincent and Shark. And then the other Jonathan, who wants to take Jonathan? Jonathan Lin. Who wants to take him to your group? Noel? Sure. Okay. So Jonathan Lin will go to Noel group. Is that okay? Sure. Thanks. Okay, so both of you already have a group. So for this, they're different tutorial group. Tutorial group, but should be okay for this course because should be okay. Rachel who? Should be okay. So both of you already have. Oh, you cannot from different tutorial group because I think no problem with that. Even though you're from different tutorial group, I think shouldn't be a problem. Shouldn't be a problem, I think, because there are only few of us here, right? So Noel and who? Let's see. Oh, I'm not sure who's the team. So yeah. So first, who wants to present the progress of your research since you only have few minutes?
Awas.
Okay, Ken. Okay, so you want to present or you want to tell me what's your progress?
So I have not much, just the intro.
So this is what you already done. I mean, for your progress.
The
Mm.
introduction.
Well, this is quite good because I can see this is quite good. Good for you guys because I can see you guys already have the framework of your what do you call this? Of your article. Yeah, article. So yeah, this is for the newcomer. You can see what's the format. What's the format for this assignment? I think I already attached. So basically for your assignment for this particular course, you need to come out with something like this. You need to write an article. So for article, this is correct. You have your title, the name, the faculty, the abstract. I don't expect you guys to write the full abstract yet because it's still ongoing. So that's cool. So what's new since last week, Noel?
This one block of text. That's it.
Oh, introduction only, is it?
Yeah.
But that's good. So for introduction, what you need to write is you need to obviously you need to write an introduction, right? But how you can for each part of your section in your article, you can refer to the article that we use in our practical or in any other article. But for this assignment, I think there are few part or few section that need to include in your research paper. So for this group, I think it's quite good already because you already start to write your framework. I call this framework. I think Ian and Nathan already in the group. If I'm not mistaken, Rachel already add their group in our group, the OOAD. The last two number is their number. I think that one. Yeah. So that's what. Okay. Okay, for now, L group, I think this is okay. You're good to go. You're good to go. You can proceed. So yeah, okay. And then other group, what's your progress? After Noel is Kelvin. Kelvin. Kelvin, effect on social media. Yeah, Kelvin, what's your progress?
Oh yeah,
Haven't start, right?
haven't start.
So since last week, Farah Vincent and Kelvin, since last week, what is your progress?
We only just make a survey only. We haven't post also.
Okay, but I suggest who haven't start writing, to those who haven't start your writing immediately because for article write it's not something that you can do in 1 or 2 nights or for week, especially for your level because you're still new. So it's better for you, even though you only have abstract or only abstract part, just write or create your framework. But since we are in week 3, so by next week, I hope I want to see the framework or the of your assignment. And then next we have Rachel. Rachel, what is your progress? Negative effect of online classes. So your research is negative effect of online classes, right? So what's new? A lot like in the exercise. I need to write a lot. For shark, a lot in the exercise. What do you mean write like a lot? You need to, for this particular assignment, you need to write an article. An article is something like the Noel first group present just now. No need to write need to write a lot. You need to write an article. Article is like what you learn in the practical. You need to write a lot. If you're asking me if you need to write a lot for your article, the answer is yes. But if you ask me, you need to see back what the requirement for this assignment or what you need to produce. I hope I'm answering your question because I'm not very clear. And then Rachel at most discuss on how we should approach. Okay, for Rachel, what's your research title? Is it still with this one? So also no writing, but I think bukan I think. You guys memang kena, you guys need to write also. You need to start writing also. So no no. I mean nothing new since last week. Approach. We should approach. How we should approach? Do you mean your method or what? Your method. Okay. Next week I want to see the framework or at least something. If you don't write the framework, you need to give me what's your progress. And then what else? Daniel, the one that read a lot. Daniel should be the last. Yeah. Daniel, what's your progress?
Haven't writing yet lah, but we find find some article in website
Great.
to our title already changed last week, which is Malaysia perception and trust towards the government in terms of financial and safety in COVID-19 pandemic.
Oh, you already.
Yeah, last week I asked Miss about the title to make sure that our title is suitable.
Yeah, correct. So for this week you change your title, right?
Yeah,
Okay. And then you find a related article.
yeah. Find them
No
related.
writing, is it?
No writing yet. No writing. We find I find the related article about it.
Okay, that's good. But what I suggest you guys, because you maybe will read a lot of, not you maybe, you need to read a lot of paper. So what I suggest to you as a researcher, what you need to do every time, if you think that paper is related to you, because not paper all not all paper that you read will it's not related relevance to your research. So every time you already finish read, even though there's only one output from your paper that you read, you just write that paper. I mean, every paper that you think related, you straight write, do your writing, because I'm afraid you don't have enough time to do your writing if you read papers and then only you summarize everything.
Okay.
Yep, that's my suggestion to you guys and to all of the group. Okay, so I hope next week I see more progress, because next week is already week 4, and I think it's more to your side on how you're going to, because assignment is 60%, right? From my side, I don't really like how do I say, hot system. It doesn't affect me, but it will affect your pointer, your course, because your submission will be on week, I think, I'm not sure in week berapa, tapi you guys need to do your progress for me to guide you guys. If not, then I'm afraid there's nothing much I can do with your marks. So I hope next week, or what I suggest you guys is whoever for Noel group, because you already come out with a frame of your article. So if you want me to guide you, you can send that part just now. Whatever you have, send to other group. Whatever you have, you just send to me, and then I will guide you, because for research it's not like 1 minute presentation or 1 minute guiding. So you send me whatever you have, I'll guide you or I'll comment to your work. So that's it for our progress. Anything you want to ask or anything you want to share related to your project? No, I assume no. So I think we can dismiss because it's already 12 minutes. So again, don't forget or send me your progress if you want me to comment out anything. Okay, guys.
Yes,
So see you. Pardon?
the progress anytime.
Anytime.
Not yeah, or only on Friday.
Like can chat me or how?
Sure, no problem. Just send me
Okay.
anytime. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, fair. Okay, Noel. So anything else? You can send me your progress at any time. I will do at my time and maybe I will respond to you guys too at any time. So should be cool, should be okay with me, no problem. Okay, anything else?
No.
No, right?
No.
Okay, so okay, that's all for today. Thank you, guys.
Okay. Thank you, Miss.
Okay, miss. Thank you.
Okay. Okay.